Hi everyone, how you doing? This is Caroline and Kim coming you from live from Dublin and Sydney. We're so excited to have you here with us on LinkedIn because we are launching something brand new. This is a pre-launch party for the Suits You podcast that we're really excited about. We've been talking about for the last couple of months, and we decided to come together with our specialized fields to help with supporting businesses in this really challenging time and the fifth revolution, this technological revolution that we're moving through. So I would love to introduce you to my really beautiful friend, Kim, who is a really close to my heart in many different aspects, not just in personal and professional life. And she really is a woman who leads with love in her heart. And we're very much aligned in who we are in the world and how we want to shape the world for the next generation. So Kim is a specialist in developmental psychology, process-informed work and emotional intelligence, with 30 years working in corporate property and trained under the Institute of Neurocymetics and Pathways Institute. So she is just mega packed with qualifications, and she just has a passion for people. And that's why I am so excited to be partnering with her on this new venture. So Kim, I'd love to say hello to the audience.
Caroline, it is such a pleasure to be here with you to actually create Suits You, this new podcast. And I'm so excited, even just creating the pre-launch or even the lead up, the giggles that you and I used to have was just incredible. The excitement that we both have and the passion around developing this to actually bring this to the corporates. It's so important, I know, for you, and it's extremely important for me. And it is with so much gratitude and love for you with coming together. And what we're bringing is two forces of feminine nature, with a touch of masculine as well. And with your skill sets as well as an author and specialist in training, education, and development with organizations, plus also having 30 years of experience in corporate branding, plus trained, under the SETU and the Mindfulness Institute, as well as Griffith College in Dublin. You have got so much that you offer this world, and I'm just delighted and excited, and I can't wait to do the launch in Sydney. When you come to Sydney, it's going to be very exciting for the new year, and I'm looking forward to bringing such rich information to the corporates.
It's perfect timing, Kim, because both of us are just finishing masters in different areas, and it's when the universe decides to bring us together for this. I think it's really important, I suppose, role I think that we're going to fulfill. And I really felt, even when before we were coming on here, really warm feeling in my heart that there's such a need, and I'd love at this time for a holding of hands and to bring people across this gap that is, to bridge a gap in the skills market, I guess, for corporates, and how do they flourish in these difficult times. So I'd love you to talk about, just to share with the audience, Kim, why are you so passionate, especially after, you've invested so much time in developing yourself as a person. And I know you've invested over 10 years of yourself into really learning about who you are so that you can be ready to meet these times. And I'd love you to really illuminate what is it why you feel it's so important to be, creating this platform to talk to corporates, and what do you want to bring to the corporate space that's new and innovative.
Yeah, beautifully said, Caroline. Like it really touches my heart, this work. And probably the biggest aspect is building relationships. It's just fundamental to who I am and what I'm all about. And I really want to support people in the corporate world around strengthening those communication lines, strengthening skill sets. Because I'm really noticing, coming from the corporate world, noticing there's a lot of struggles. And as you mentioned before, there is so much going on that so many people are becoming really overwhelmed and becoming busier than ever. And with this technology coming through and all this new technology, it's creating a lot of overwhelm. And I really want to simplify it, Caroline. And I feel with our combined skill sets and the work that we have been doing on ourselves, I feel that that can actually really impart so much knowledge and wisdom to be able to facilitate others to integrate it. Because we have so much information at our fingertips, yet it doesn't seem to be translating in the corporate environment. People seem to be busier than ever. And I feel just the biggest issue is just really understanding how we communicate and how people are receiving our messages and how we would like to show up or deliver that message. And so in us supporting them through, this podcast and giving them tips of around the engagement or the disengagement and noticing those signs within people, I feel it's so valuable, Caroline. I just really do. I'm just so, excited, to bring this forward.
Yeah, amazing. And it's when I hear you speaking to that, you're really speaking to people's pain points, the areas which they're finding difficult, and they just need to build skills with. What's really interesting for me and is, again, I'm going into the dissertation in the master's that I'm studying at the moment, and the research that is coming out is so clear, in the World Economic Forum, looking at the top skills for the 21st century. Creative thinking, psychological flexibility, and emotional intelligence are the top 3 skills that are required for flourishing in the workplace during these times. And they're the skills that are least developed. And I think that is actually what is causing a lot of conflict in the workplace, which is huge. And in the statistics, it is actually the problem when it comes to disengagement, because people are checking out from their work environments. They're still working. They're not moving jobs because they're afraid to move jobs because of the instability in the economy at the moment. But what is happening when conflict happens in the workplace environment? They don't have the skills to be able to deal with that, and they just disengage and they check out. They turn up and they do just what is required, but they're not passionate about their jobs. They don't feel a sense of belonging. They don't feel a sense of the future, is going to promote them and develop them in the actual organization, which is hugely detrimental to the bottom line for the organizations. And it is stagnating organizations in a time where innovation is paramount. Innovative thinking, creative thinking is number 1 in the skill set. So for me, my passion is really about facilitating processes where we can bring institutions through a dynamic process of both building the skills and also developing that beautiful environment where creativity can flourish.
Yeah, and I know you've spoken to me about the work that you're doing with training students, Caroline. And those are some of the 3 key areas that you're working on, aren't they? The psychological flexibility, the critical thinking, and the emotional intelligence. So those are some of the key things that I understand that you're training people. But do you feel that in the corporate world that kind of needs to be revisited, so to speak? Do you feel that that's something, even though these new students are coming through, do you feel like the corporate world needs a bit more support in that regard as well.
Yes, an amazing point to point that out, because really what the cutting edge for environments in the workplace is to transform all workplaces into workplace environments. So that means that instead of seeing your corporate institution as a company as such, it should be seen as a learning environment for
Oh,
your
wow.
staff. Yeah. So it's a little bit like a university as such. So you're constantly developing your staff. You're really invested in knowing your staff on a one-to-one basis, knowing their skills set as they are. So knowing their innate skills and talents, but then also areas for development, and that you provide training for that development to happen. You create a safe space for that learning to be unfolded, and you give the psychological safety to be able to move positions from one position to another, so that there is huge engagement in a sense of belonging for the employees, that they feel they belong in their corporate world, as such that they're developed, that they're not just there to get a paycheck, because the research says that isn't the key to engagement. Actually, that only lasts for a very short amount of time, and then people go back to being disengaged. It's really the investment in people, investment in developing the core innate skills in individuals, and giving them a passion for getting up in the morning and going to work. And statistics are showing again that people stay longer and they work longer when they feel that they're on a shared mission with that organization, and they're here to solve a greater problem in the world that is going to, create a bright future for their children. When it comes down to it, we're not disconnected from our personal life and our family life are all one. So we're all going through this, fifth generation and just fifth revolution, which in fact really affects our younger generation come up behind us. So what can we do? So I think if we can empower people in the workplace, and when we're receiving students coming, graduates, it's so important to be seen as an organization that has that ethos, because the best of the talent coming out of universities at the moment will not be attracted to organizations that don't have that ethos. You're just not going to attract talent anymore with that. They're very, very keen on environment. They won't work under an authoritarian rule, in the old style. You just won't. So you're not going to get the talent. You're not going to attract, these brilliant people who can really shape your organizations going forward. So it's paramount for, corporations to really wake up to that reality.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I also love, Caroline, what you shared, which was around setting up the environment to actually be like a learning hub, a learning environment. And I think that's really valid. And it's something that I think is probably really quite important for companies to set up those frameworks, so they have got that in place for these up and coming students that are coming through, as you said, with so much talent, that there's kind of that level of standard that they're bringing forward as well. And it's whether or not corporations are going to meet those standards, or they possibly might be already achieving that, but this is obviously an opportunity for us to explore that a bit further and how we deepen that. And I think that's probably a really key thing is, how solid are people's communication strategies? How solid are the cultures, in how people are connecting and staying? And I think that's a really cool, valid point that you said about people staying within an environment. That's probably an indicator as well. Yeah, I really like that.
It's an exciting times, and there's so much that can be done. It's really taking a look at what your environment looks like at the moment, and doing a little diagnostic on what can be improved, because obviously there's a lot of things that can be really amazing already set up in your organization, but there might be just certain areas that need development, and it's, you know, how can we develop those areas, and can make a huge difference just making a little bit of a shift, you know, into, like you're saying, talking about communication skills and how listening skills. And my dissertation that I'm going to be working on for the next 6 months is empathy. So how does our ability to empathize affect our capacity to innovate? So when can we really feel into a problem, or really feel into, you know, the issue and understand at a deep level, then we can find much more innovative and long-lasting results into solutions, you know. So it's about, comes down to people skills, you know, and how the relationships that we build, like we talked at the beginning, Kim.
Yeah, and I really love that. There's so much to unpack, Caroline, and I'm really excited for you to come to Sydney next year, and maybe there might be an opportunity for us to do this live within a corporate office. So we might put it out there to the corporate world to see whether or not, you know, there would be any businesses that would be interested in having this discussion, because I think it's really important. And look, it's something I'm very passionate about. Caroline's very passionate about, and yeah, it's definitely very exciting times.
Yes, I'm delighted to visit anybody who would like. So it'll be the end of January that I'll be flying over to Sydney to record the podcast with Kim, and then we'll be going down to Melbourne for some other launches that we have planned already. So we're part of a joint co-authoring in another book, so that's exciting as well. So we'll be celebrating that too, Kim. So yeah, it'd be amazing to reach out if anybody's interested in connecting with us while we'll be together in Australia in, I say, from the 15th of January to the end of January. That would be amazing. So yeah, really watch this space, and we'll keep you informed of when the first training will be happening with Suits You live on LinkedIn. Anything else you'd like to share, Kim, before we sign off?
No, just that I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm really excited to do this with you, Caroline, and we both bring such a wealth of knowledge and to support people. And our biggest interest, I feel, which is a collective, is setting people up for success. And, you know, and building stronger relationships. And that's what I'm really excited about, helping people in that regard. So, yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I feel what I always say is, you know, hope, we need hope, but hope is action. We take action when we, you know, that's how we create hope, by taking action steps. So myself and Kim are creating some hope in the world by taking action and just doing this new innovation.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Okay, thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll keep you posted. And maybe we do a little live into LinkedIn when we're filming in the end of January as well. Okay, talk to you all soon again.
Talk soon.
Thanks so much, Kim.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.